just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday.
This week's topic is going to be when the little things make you look forward to the big changes. This is episode 148. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. And as always, for a little bit I was sitting here going, all right, what do I want this week's topic to be? You know, because every week there's always multiple options, there's always multiple possibilities. It's like, all right, I could talk about this, I could talk about that. What do I want to do? And I guess the inspiration for what I decided to go with this week kind of came from a couple things. With my job here, you know, love who I work for, love the manager I deal with. You know, like he's a good guy. You know, I have no problems with him personally. The issues I've had in my job is, and I know it's not him. I know a lot of it's FedEx, but it's still kind of annoying when I'm one of those where I believe that, like I'm not going to promise something or say, hey, I'm going to do such and such if I don't know if I can do it. And so when others say things like, I'm going to do such and such, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take care of this, you know, don't worry, this is going to be done. You literally put your faith in everything. Okay, cool. You know, I've had it happen in my relationship with my wife, not recently, but like in the past, back when we were in PA, where, you know, where basically it's like, well, if you pull off such and such, I will do such and such, you know, on a regular basis or whatever. I'll do this, I'll do that, you know, I'll do this thing that I know you want me to do, and then of course it doesn't happen. Like you do your end, but then the other side doesn't actually follow through with their end. Same thing at the job, you know. Not necessarily like if you do such and such, I'll do this, but in my job, I've had quite a few occasions where my boss has said, "Don't worry, like I'm doing such and such, like this is gonna happen." Okay, cool, you know. And then of course it never happens, or it takes a lot longer than what he you know, oh, we're working on it, don't worry. The most recent one has been within the past 2 months. I had on my Saturday shifts, I would come in and basically do a shit ton. Like I would have Of course, they'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna get a load to, or get two empties going to Lebanon, and then you're gonna do a Nashville Clarksville combo, and then after that, then you're gonna do a set all the way back to Lebanon, and then from there, then they would basically want me to do a Knoxville Kodak combo. None of them are hard. It's just for me when I'm doing a set, um, I'm never really quick. Like maybe I can get it, depending on where I'm at and you know how I'm setting it up. I might be able to get it done in like 25, 30 minutes, but usually it's like 30 to 45. I've had it take me as long, especially if it's like raining and you can't really see very well because visibility is down. I've had it take me at least an hour just to try to get a freaking set of trailers set up and hooked up and ready to go. And if you mess up the setup, then it's taken me an hour and a half. And then I've had that happen a couple times in Nashville, like middle of the night, where you're already tired because it's like 4 a.m. and they're sending you to Huntsville, so that's already a 2 hour each direction, so 4 hours round trip. And I'm working on getting set up, and at 5:30, after it's been an hour and a half, I'm finally almost all set up, and then Nashville's calling me. And they're like, "Hey, we're just checking on you, because I know you've been working, you haven't dispatched it, like, everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just tired." And I screwed up the setup, so I had to redo it. Or had to at least, because usually it's like when you're setting up doubles, it's like, the way I do is like I'll relocate the trailers, especially if because you got to look at if you got an incline that you're dealing with and lighting issues and stuff where you can't really see. So basically, I'll hook up to the rear trailer, I'll relocate it, I'll move it where I can see better and where I know it's not an incline, so I can actually adjust the dolly if I need to. And then I'll go grab the dolly, put the dolly in front of the rear trailer, and then I'll go grab the front trailer, and I'll obviously pull in front of the dolly, back that trailer up to the dolly, because I'll have the brake set on the dolly, so I'll be able to back that front trailer up very, very slowly to where I start to press against the dolly. You'll feel that resistance. And it's like, all right, cool. Then you pull forward a couple inches, set the brake, put it in neutral or whatever, and then basically you get out, you walk back, release the brake on the dolly, you lift up that front end, you hook it to the back of the trailer, you go back, you get back in the truck, and then you back it up to where the dolly lifts up that back trailer, you back under it to where you feel it click and connect. Then you pull forward to you feel that resistance, so you know you're set up. So, but it's not a quick process for me because I take my time, because especially if I'm working nights, I'm tired as it is. So it's like if I try to rush it, then I am basically, you're setting yourself up to possibly screw things up, to make a mistake that could basically get you fired and be out of the job, or not be able to drive for a while because you dropped the trailer or you just keep disconnected, whatever. So it's better to take it slow and make sure that you do it right. So within the past 2 months, further, past 2 months ago, usually what Saturday nights, it's like you're sent to Lebanon, and usually be a Knoxville run, or a Knox and Kodak, or it'd be a Huntsville or something, something like that. But for 6 weeks or 2 months, I would come in and they're having me do a set to Lebanon, and then a set that's going to Nashville and Clarksville. And I'd come back to Nashville, I drop one, have to pick up another one that's going to Clarksville, and have to break everything down, and then reset everything back up, and then continue on to Clarksville, and then break everything down, set up a full set with 2 empties, and then make my way to Lebanon again. And then they'd want me to do Knoxville, Kodak, which by that point I'm getting out there like 6 hours and 40 minutes on my 14. And I'm looking at my time and I'm going, I don't think I could do all the way to Kodak, but I could probably do Knoxville. And so I call them. I'm like, when are those trailers due? And like, well, they're not due till tomorrow. I'm like, all right, can I just do Knoxville? Because like, I don't think I have time to do both. Like, yeah, that's fine. And thankfully they will let me just take the one. So it's like, I would just leave with one trailer versus like setting up a set. And I'd still get to Knoxville, and I would still run tight on time. Like I had one week I violated hours because I went over my 14, and then I had other weeks where I came really close, but I was like literally pulling into Nashville with like 3 minutes on my 14-hour clock, and it's like, whew, man, it's so close. So after like a month or so of doing this and being stressed every single Sunday morning when I was about to get off, I think one Saturday morning when I got off, I messaged my boss. You know, the whole squeaky wheel, whatever. So I was like, hey, I need to ask you something. Or I have a concern, can I talk to you, whatever. And he's like, yeah, what's going on? And I was like, the last month or so, last like 6 weeks, I've been really running tight on time. They keep wanting me to do all these different runs. And then they want me to do a Knoxville Kodak, and I end up not having the time. I end up not being able to do the Kodak, and I violated a couple weeks, and I've been really close to violating on the other weeks. I think I had to use my 16-hour extension one week just because I literally got within like 4 miles of the hub, and I had like 3 minutes of my 14, and I was like, crap. So you pull over and you put the 14-hour, the 16-hour extension. It's like, don't want to use that too often. Obviously, I think legally, I think I could use like once a week. But so I was like, can you talk to them and find out can they change things around? Is there anything they can do? Because I was like, this is like, it's really stressful because I'm doing my best, but I don't have the time to do everything they want me to do. I feel like they're piling on so much stuff that they want me to do, and I just don't have the time to do it all. And what can we do? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll talk to them. I'll find out. I'll see what's going on, and I'll look at your times for the past couple weeks. I'll see if we can make any changes. I was like, copy that, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Like sitting here as I'm recording this, I'm like, wow, okay. Like it sounds like it's raining really heavily outside. Like, glad I'm not working tonight, but so the next week actually it was like a couple days later. I think I was off. Yeah, it was when I was off. So like I ran that night. When I came in that Saturday night after talking to him, and actually, I think I messaged him. I think it was Friday. So it was like Friday. I was trying to be proactive, trying to message him ahead of schedule. And then so Saturday morning he goes, starting next week, there's gonna be another driver who's gonna handle the Knoxville or the Nashville Clarksville combo, and you're just gonna do Knoxville and Kodak. I'm like, oh, cool. That sounds great. Awesome. But I was told, well, that so tonight though you're gonna be doing the same thing you did last week. I'm like, crap. So when I came in Saturday night, I got on the phone talking to Lebanon, good old guy named Caleb out there that I deal with a lot. Like, hey Caleb, it's Blodgett, how's it going? He goes, hey Blodgett, what's up, man? I was like, hey, did Jimmy talk to you? He goes, what about? I was like, well, like the last month or so, doing these Nashville Clarksville combo, then coming back here, then doing Knox Kodak. I said, I've been violating hours, I've been running out of time. He goes, well, I don't love that. I was like, yeah, me either, because I don't want to get fired. I value my job, so that's why I just haven't been doing the Kodak one. And Jimmy's, supposedly there's another driver starting next week that's gonna do the Nashville and Clarksville, and I'm just gonna do Knox Kodak. I was like, what do you got me doing tonight? He goes, well, pretty much the same thing we've been doing every week, like the Nashville Clarksville, then the Knox Kodak, and I'm like, all right, well, the problem is I never have the time to do it all. No matter how, like, even if I try not to stop and dawdle or procrastinate or waste any time, I still run short on time. It doesn't matter what I do. He goes, well, if Jimmy would send me another driver, then, and I'm like, well, like, I'm trying to talk to him. I'm trying to be the squeaky wheel. And, and he, obviously, like, you're telling me I'm doing Knox Kodak, so I thought, obviously, you and Jimmy haven't talked to him ever. He goes, well, let me call Jimmy and see what we can do, see if I can get another driver in here. So I said, all right, cool, And then within half an hour after when I'm getting ready to leave Nashville to go to Lebanon, my boss is messaging me going, so tonight they're going to have you do East chat at the end of your day instead of, or after the Nash Clark, just to kind of save you some time. Hopefully that should make things better. I'm like, all right, cool. That'd be a lot easier because it's like 130 miles versus 200. So it's a lot easier time-wise to get it done. I was like, that works. I can do that. That's fine. But they still don't get me loaded till like 1 a.m. So it's like, I'm not getting back to Lebanon till like 5:30, 6 o'clock some nights. And it's funny because I had one I think it was like last weekend, not this weekend that we just went through, but last week I got back there, I think it was like 5:45, and of course I had to run in there to use the bathroom, which, the bathroom's on like the far end of the facility. You got to go in kind of the middle of the facility where line haul is, so it's like you got to walk all the way the hell over there, so it takes you probably like, feels like 10 or 15 minutes just to walk from one end to the other. And then, you do your business, then 10 or 15 or whatever to walk on the way back. So you're looking at probably at least 30 minutes just to go use the bathroom. It's like, unless you're walking really fast, you're running. And it's like, then it's 6:15. I'm getting ready to hook up. And he's like, did you just get there? I'm like, no, I've been here for a minute. But, I didn't get loaded till 1 a.m. And then I got out here and of course I had to use the bathroom. That takes time. You got to walk all the way the fuck over there. He's like, well, like, I actually need the truck for another driver this morning, so she's just going to send you back to Nashville. I'm like, that's fine. I was like, cool. That's what you want to do. I'm not going to argue. Early day, cool. I'll deal with it. I'm not gonna say no to a little bit easier morning than what I've been dealing with lately. So, but, so they had me doing East Chat in Chattanooga for the last, couple weeks. And, like, after doing it that week, the first week, the next week, I was like, all excited. I'm like, cool. Like, they're going to have the other driver in here. He's going to be doing the Nashville Clarksville combo. So I'm just going to be doing Knox Kodak. But then I come in and they're like, yeah, same as last week. I'm like, so, like, what's going on with the other driver? Like, I thought you had somebody coming in that was going to do the Nashville Clarksville. And I was going to be doing the Knox Kodak. And he's like, yeah, he's not approved yet with FedEx. We're still working on getting him cleared. And so you're still doing, I'm like, all right, So I come in and do what I got to do. Which is funny because of, like, the few times, I've had, like, twice where he was like, yeah, they're going to send you back to Nashville because I need the truck. And then, of course, when I check in on Tuesday, it shows that when I do the inspection that I'm the last one that did an inspection on the truck. So I'm like, so did I get cut early for no reason? Like, you didn't really need the truck, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, I'm not complaining. I'll get home early, go to bed earlier and have a little bit more of a day off on Sunday. That's fine. I'm not going to, no complaints on my end. So, but, I come up on this weekend, the one that we just went through, and same thing. Oh yeah, same thing as last week. I'm like, so what's going on? Like, it's been like the last 3 weeks that you supposedly had another driver take it over, and he's like, yeah, well, it's just taking a lot longer for FedEx to clear him and blah blah blah, but he should be cleared on Tuesday to start next weekend. And I'm like, all right, so basically my last weekend running out of Nashville. He's like, well, yeah, like, I thought Saturday was your last day. And I'm like, yeah, Saturday next week will be my last day here before I transition out there. That's the thing, is, like, I'm still technically driving for the same. I'm not, like, applying and getting hired with someone else, but our contractor that I drive for apparently got bought out by another contractor, so we became bigger. I think my current, who I've been with the past couple years, I think they had like 20 or 30 trucks here, and I think they've had like one or two other hubs in other states that they're out of, but they got bought out, and this one has like 150 trucks, and they have apparently a big presence out there in Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, and all that. So that's how I'm able to I'm going to transition when we leave in about a week and a half. And I'll basically just transition out there and work at the Missouri hub, which I'm like, hey, cool, I can live with that, But it's kind of, it's one of those things. It's like being told, oh, this is going to happen for the past like 3 weeks, and of course it doesn't happen. And I'm like, since I've been with this company, like I said, like there's been a lot of occasions where it's like, this is gonna happen, this is what's going on, and then it just doesn't happen, or it takes a lot longer than what he's talking about. And I can't say that I think it's all his fault, because I know that's not the case, but it's like that it still kind of bugs me. It's like, look, if you don't know if this is what's gonna happen, if you could pull this off, whatever, then don't tell me that's what's going on. Like, don't tell me, hey, this is like, we're working on this, is especially when it's something that would make make the day-to-day, make my life easier or whatever as far as the job goes. Because then I'm thinking, all right, cool, this is actually gonna be taking place, and I'm like life's gonna be easier. I'm gonna make, like, especially because I've been getting told for the past like 6 months, before I talked to him about us moving. Oh, you're going to be doing such and such, like, we're working on, like, this is going to be your dedicated route. You're going to end up doing Memphis. You're going to be doing the FedEx Express Memphis route. That's what you're going to be, that's what we're going to put you on. And I'm like, I haven't done, like, I've done some express runs in the past 2 months, but it's not there's been like, one or two here, one or two there. There's a little bit where I did express runs, do like literally 500-mile round trips, like every day for like a month, like 2 months, and then all of a sudden I was jumping around in other stuff, do like a shorter run on this day, shorter run that day, then do a long run, and then do shorter runs again. And it's like, so like, what's going on? Like, I thought you said I was gonna be, I was gonna be jumping on this one permanently. He's like, well, they've been really slow, they haven't been as much freight, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, I understand that, But it's like, but if you're but at the same time, if you're telling me this is what's gonna happen, like, there wasn't well, I'm working on this. It's, well, this is what's gonna happen. He's like, this is the plan. This is what we're doing. Blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, cool. So then you kind of like, all right, you're counting on that. You're like, you told me this is gonna happen, so this is what I'm expecting to happen. But then it doesn't happen. And it's like, all right. So I kind of got like the past 6 months to a year, I've kind of got more in the mindset, and I've got the expectation where, yeah, you take what the boss says with a grain of salt, and you go, well, this is what he says, but we'll see. And again, nothing against him, because I'm not saying that he's deliberately jerking my chain, which could be, I don't know, but I know a large part of it is probably FedEx. Like, he's telling me what he's expecting, what he's hoping to happen, but then of course, like, FedEx does whatever, and it just doesn't work out. So then I'm still jumping around doing, hey, tonight you're doing Knoxville, tonight you're doing Louisville, tonight you're doing, it's like, when I came on board with this current contractor, which my boss isn't the contractor, he's the manager, but when I came over here, when I dealt with him, because he's the one I contacted when I was working to switch over to do a line haul, I was like, hey, I was referred to you by another guy that, drives for the same company I was with before. He's run into you a couple times. He says that you're a stand-up guy, that the company you're managing for is actually really good. Do you have any dedicateds that I can jump on with you? He's, oh yeah, we got a couple. And he mentioned a Memphis. He mentioned the one that I actually ended up jumping on, which was the one going to Illinois and back. So I was like, he kind of described that one like, yeah, it's what they call a butthead swap, which I think is the word, kind of like funniest and worst name ever. And I was like, butthead swap, what the heck? He goes, yeah, pretty much like, you guys show up at a random location, It's not a hub or whatever. You show up at like a truck stop and you drop your loaded trailer, and they drop their loaded trailer, and you swap, and they take off with yours, and you take off with theirs, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Pretty easy. And so that's what I did for like a little over a year. It was like, um, basically I'd come in, there'd be a set of trailers already set up that was brought from Atlanta. I would hook up to those, dispatch, take off, get to Farina, Illinois, get to that truck stop, and meet up with the team from St. Paul, Minnesota. And then, we'd swap and, chat for a couple minutes and then take off or whatever. Used to meet up with a guy named Dell that I don't even know. Maybe he's one of the ones that downloads and listens to this podcast. Who knows? If you do, hey, shout out Dell. Hope you're doing well, man. But there's another team. It was like a married couple I met with. Again, shout out. If you guys are one of the ones that downloads, I have no idea. All I see when I go look at my stats for this podcast is like, you have this many downloads, and it shows how many you're in which country. So I have like a handful of them from the US, and I have like one guy from Germany or one person from Germany. I've had some from Australia, from UK. I think I've had some from Russia, but it doesn't show like what states in the US, so I have no idea about as far as like who it is. But I don't want to do a shout out if there's like, because I know one of the friends that I had a falling out with a while back, somebody that moved over here from Australia. I don't know if she's still here in the US, but she moved over here and tried to be with a boyfriend, I guess, that she was getting serious about. So good old Kirsten. Shout out, kind of, I want to put a challenge out there because we didn't really have a falling out because of anything in the friendship necessarily, versus like another friend that I had falling out with named Joanne from Scotland. Good friends for a while, but it was one of those situations where she kept giving this guy that was, from what I understood, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but from what I understood, it was kind of a abusive situation. But yeah, she kept taking him back and giving him more chances. And of course, like when I tried to point that out, it was, well, I will not apologize for being a good person, and clearly you're not, because you would just kick him out in the street. I'm like, okay, like, basically told her, if we talk again, you will freaking apologize, because like, I've only had your best interest at heart, whatever. So you saying I'm not a good person because I'm not going to just let somebody walk over me like they are you, then that's BS. So don't expect to reconnect with her. But Kirsten and I were friends for a while, and I had to walk away because I felt like she just kept making the same, it's like basically wanting to be in a relationship so bad that, was like, but anyway, without going into detail with that, I just want to throw this little challenge out there. Like, I don't know if she's one of the ones listening, but Kirsten, if you are listening, I challenge you to actually reach out to me. Go ahead and send me a message, send me a text. You still have my number. Love to reconnect. I know we technically were, friendship wise, we're pretty good. I could, I thought about it the past couple of days, like it's one of those where I'm like, it's not my place to judge what you want to do. If you want to try to get into different relationships and, so desperate to be in a relationship in general, if that's what you want to do, I guess maybe I shouldn't judge so much, and should just let you do you without walking away or whatever. But hey, if she's not, then I just won't hear from her or whatever. So I thought I'd throw it out there. It's one of those, like, you gotta think, like, all right, like, I've always kept my circle small in general anyway. So because some, I guess in some instances you kind of like you give too much of your energy, of your focus, of your time to situations and people in your life that kind of all I do, where basically you're not getting anything back. You're not benefiting from it at all. Like they're just taking, and so it's like sometimes literally it's like it's best to just say, you know what, this is not healthy for me. This is all it's doing is draining my energy, whatever, draining my peace, my happiness, whatever. So I gotta just focus on me and I gotta walk away. So there's been a lot of occasions where that's what I've done. Because it's like, look, like obviously you're gonna do what you gotta do. I don't agree with this, and I'm finding myself stressing about it and focusing on it too much. So I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna let you do you. I wish you the best, whatever. So those two friendships right there, it's like Kirsten and Joanne. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, like we were really close. We were friends for a long time. So I look back at that and go, you know what? I really wish that things hadn't turned out the way they did with those two friendships. Hell, Joanne was actually a friend of the family. Because she and I were close friends, so we would do a video call like every couple weeks. She'd get to see the grandkiddo. She'd see, she'd do a brief chat with Aaron, and she'd see the kids and whatever. And so it's like the fact that when she got involved with this guy that she kept taking back every couple months, and what the straw that broke the back with her was a conversation where she had joked about the fact that, like, I guess he was such a slob, and he would like, she'd have like so many like really really dirty dishes to the point, the kind of dirty dishes where you can't just put it in the dishwasher, where you're gonna have to like massively scrub for hours to try to like clean them off, and that she had actually thrown away dishes because they were so dirty, and she wasn't gonna spend that much time cleaning them. She just basically threw them away and got new dishes. And so like on one of the times where she took them back, I made like, I was trying to be supportive. All right, I see. Okay, it will make sense. I hear you. It sucks that he's struggling again, and that he needed a place to crash again, to stay, whatever. And so I made a comment, just totally joking around. I was like, oh, so you're gonna have to throw away more dishes. Not trying to start a fight, not really trying to like rub her the wrong way, nothing, And her reply back was, I will not apologize for being a good person. And clearly it's come to my attention that you're not, because obviously you would just let him suffer, whatever. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. I was like, Joanne, I'm fucking joking. Like what the hell? Like, you and I have been friends for a long time. You haven't known him for anywhere near as long as you've known me. So I kind of resent the fact that you said that about me. Like, fuck you. All right, So I was like, so you go fuck yourself, and you have a great rest of your life. I hope that everything works out between you and him. I hope you guys are happy, whatever. But I'm not going to deal with this abuse. And if we were talking again, you will fucking apologize, because this is bullshit. And then I blocked her. And the funny thing was, for a little while, I noticed that like my wife would make a post, and apparently she was still connected. I didn't have her blocked. I just deleted her, I think. But I would notice that my wife would do a post, and Joanne would comment on her posts. Like everything was like, oh my god, dearie, oh my god, that's so amazing, blah blah blah. And so I reached out, I talked to my wife, and I was like, yeah, can you like, get rid of her, like block, like delete her, block her, whatever. I was like, because yeah, she was a family friend when she and I were friends, but like now such and such happened, and I was like, I don't think it's appropriate that like she connected with any of the rest of our family, because like, she doesn't get that. Like that's a privilege. But like, if she's gonna be that disrespectful and like be a freaking bitch or whatever to me, and us have a falling out, I was like, she doesn't get to be connected with you and the kids as well too, because can't be a family friend without being a family friend. And my wife was like, yeah, totally. Like, I got her blocked. Don't worry. You know, I was like, she's off. Like, cool. Thanks. Most of the time in situations, like, if I'm not friends with somebody, you know, but they're friends with Aaron, you know, my wife or whatever, I don't care. But in that situation where you're friends with me and then you're friends with my family through proxy, you know, like, but then you and I have falling out because you're just like that. It's like, yeah, I know. You don't get, sorry, that's not a, you don't get that privilege. You know, after dealing with that with me, it's like you are disconnected from all of us. You know, sorry, like you're cut off altogether. You don't get part of us. All or nothing, you know. So, but so back to the topic at hand. But you know, as far as like between those two, between Joanne and Kirsten, it's like Kirsten I would reconnect with if she happens to be one of the ones that's listening to this podcast, and if you know, if she happens to be, you know, if it's something that she wants to actually reconnect and actually like still actually be friends, hey, I'd be open to it, you know, because I know having real friends in life in general, like solid people in your circle, it's kind of like a rare thing. So who knows, whatever. I'm putting it out there, putting it in the universe, putting it on this podcast. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a message. But so as far as the topic tonight, it's like with being told certain things by my boss and then having it not actually. So we'll see. Like next weekend, I'm curious. So am I gonna be doing Knox Kodak? Are they gonna have the other driver working, or is it gonna still be like, oh no, he's still not active? All right, you know, been telling me this for a month, you know, but thankfully, like, they haven't been making me do what they did before. You know, they switched to East Chat, so it's like it's been easier on Saturday nights. I can actually do it, not run out of time, so I appreciate that. But it's like you know, there's been a couple weeks where they, you know, where my boss pulled me off the East Chat and just said I'd be sent back to Nashville. I'm like, so instead of doing Knox Kodak and having actual decent miles on Saturday night, I'll do Lebanon and then Nash Clark and then back to Lebanon. And oh, actually, we're gonna have you sent back to Nashville because I need the truck. Okay, lack miles, but I don't complain. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take it easy tonight. Why not? You know, because I'm, you know, when I work overnight, I'm tired of shit anyway. So it's like I'm looking at that going, like, yeah, I could use the money, but at the same time, I'll take the extra sleep. I'll take the earlier days. So like, I'm not gonna complain, you know. But want to throw it out there too that yes, I know you guys probably noticed that like Friday, a Storytime Friday episode didn't post. So I apologize about that. There is actually a story in the works. It's like a little over halfway recorded. Because of like some of the way the nights have been over this past week, I just ended up just didn't happen. Like I got it part of it recorded, but then like, you know, then I was like, yeah, I gotta go to bed. And then of course I'm glad I did, because I woke up instead of doing the full recording, I woke up so I was actually trying to get it posted on Saturday for Friday technically, but I got it partially recorded and then went to bed, and I woke up later that night. Basically was told, oh yeah, we needed you to go in at like 8:30. So basically I woke up at like 6:30 instead of going in at 10 that night. He wanted me to go in at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I was kind of glad I went to bed when I did, because at least I got some decent sleep, versus like if I had stayed up for another 2 hours, I might have actually not been as rested. So doing my best, but thankfully instead of it being for last Friday, that just means that the current story that's mostly recorded, that episode, that'll be just for, you know, this upcoming Friday's episode. So I didn't want to skip a day, but at least I know that, you know, I already have the next Friday's episode partially recorded, so it's in the works, whatever. And then and then of course, like, technically I believe Saturday into Sunday morning will be my technical last day running here in Nashville, and then we're off for a couple days. And you know, we got some by like midweek is when our moving company actually shows up to go ahead and start packing us up in the truck and get us moved. And then the following Saturday is when we're officially moving into the new place. So a lot of stuff going down. I'm just looking forward to when we get out there, because I'm just kind of stressing about the cost of the move, because that's freaking expensive. A lot of financial stresses, whatever. Putting it out there, anybody who wants to help with that at all, feel free to send me a message at blogishapodcast@gmail.com, and I can get you a link for how you can help out with the extra for the moving cost, whatever, but not expecting any help, obviously. But just, I'm looking forward to once we get out there, because I know financially there'll be a lot less stress once we're officially moved in and everything's done. Then it's just, all right, cool, now we just pay the rent on the first. Because I'm already going to be starting work with the new company out of the Missouri hub, just starting that on the following Tuesday. The wife already she's been interviewing at multiple places. It's funny, she applied at so many places out here in the last 2 years for executive chef type jobs or whatever. And she's had a few interviews, but most of the ones here, they do like an interview and be like, yeah, we went a different direction, even though she's here. But out there, she's interviewed over the phone with quite a few, and they've all said the same thing, like, we really want to bring you on board, but we just wish you were here locally because we need you right now. So I have no doubts at all that once we get out there, it's not going to be long before my wife has a really good position. And same thing with my daughter. Like, she's an assistant manager where she works right now. So I'm not expecting it's going to take her long to get in somewhere out there. And then we've been dealing with, because I kind of told you guys a little bit about a legal case going on with the other household. Like, you didn't give us notice, very much notice as far as the move. We're like, yeah, we told you a little over 2 months before we were leaving, and then we got, our daughter got served court papers because the sperm donor was trying to say that he was gonna, with the coaching of his mom, because the sperm donor wouldn't do it, but coming after her for full custody of our grandson. I'm like, yeah, but he's 6.5. He's been in my daughter's custody, the entire time. So we're not worried about that. It's just the cost of it and stuff, because they have no valid reason as to why he should get switched houses. And I was like, yeah, they're not gonna take him away, because he's been living with her and they've been living with us majority of the time for the past 6.5 years. So things are, we try to express hey, we've been working with you guys the past 6 years. You guys really needed to talk to us and not go through the courts. You kind of set fire to us working things out peacefully the past 6 years. Well, we just want what's best for the grandkiddo. And I'm like, well, that's BS, because, if you really want what's best for him, we're moving to a place we're going to have a bigger, an actual house. We're going to have 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So things are actually, everybody's going to be better off where we're going, because we'll have family close by, a bigger place, more room. And to kind of a little update on that, it's kind of funny, because my wife, I guess, talked to the other grandmother, and she was on the phone, and she was kind of telling her, she's like, you didn't give us very much notice. And my wife's like, yeah, we did. We gave you over 2 months. We only knew a couple weeks more than that. But she sent her pictures of the house and sent her where it's at. And I guess now all of a sudden the other grandma seeing the where we're moving to and see what we're moving into, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, okay, yeah, that looks really nice. And it's a little bit more supportive. I'm like, yeah, but there's still the court case. Thankfully now we're looking at, they're gonna try mediation with some attorneys and whatnot, and try to see if they can get more of a, hey, we're gonna move, and you guys can come out and see him, and you can come back during the summer for a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there, whatever. Something that's not hey, we want to get him in here in Nashville away from you guys permanently. It's yeah, that's not gonna happen. You guys aren't gonna get what you want because he's in a stable household right now. So, but it sounds like she's more, oh, okay, it makes sense. Like, I can see how this is actually a better move for the grandkiddo. We're like, yeah, like, this isn't just us moving because my job. Like, I'm like, no, I could work anywhere. Like, I drive for anybody. I was like, this is a move to try to make things better for everybody. Better house or better home, family close by, better jobs for the wife and my son's or my grandson's mama, so it's like, I don't want to leave Tennessee necessarily because I do love it here. We've been here 10 years, but it's like, cost wise, for us to buy a house here, we'd be looking at a really, really expensive house. Like 4 bedrooms out here would be like $500,000. 4 bedrooms up there, probably like 175 to 300,000. And 250 to 300,000 we'd probably get a 5 or 6 bedroom, because I've got a realtor out there that sends me listings every week, and a lot of them, the ones that go for like 250 to 300, just like some of like 5-6 bedroom houses that are like really, really nice. And I'm like, I'm loving those prices. I literally message her back and I'm like, keep sending me these listings. I'm like, I know we're not in the position to buy, we might not be for a while, but I really appreciate the weekly listings that you're sending me. And we're probably going to go through you when we actually do buy, because one, you're consistently sending me these listings. I like the prices, and so we'll probably be going through you when we actually do officially buy a house. So and it's like, I've always been of the mindset when we do buy a house that I would rather get as much house as we can for as little money as possible. I don't want to get what we need to get, like a 4 or 5 bedroom house, and have to pay $600,000 for a house, because that's the average price around here in Nashville. And still pay $2,000, $2,500, whatever, when we could probably get a house and get what we need. Like, I know when the rental house we're getting, I know we're paying about the same as what we're paying right now as far as our rent. But I know with those purchase prices out there, we should be able to get between a $1,200 to $1,500 monthly payment, because of the total cost of the house, which I'm looking forward to that, but yeah, I'm all about moving forward, do what we gotta do. So on that note, guys, gonna go and close it out. I rambled on long enough, but hopefully you guys found value in this episode. But like I said, Kirsten, if you're listening to this, feel free to reach out, send me a text. Love to reconnect with you, see if we can rekindle the friendship that we've technically had for the past like 10 years. I'd even be willing to talk to Joanne too, but I honestly don't think that, because she's pretty obviously thinks I'm a bad person, because I'm not willing to let somebody walk all over me and keep taking them back, like she was with this ex of hers or whatever. Like, yeah, he's a dick, he did such and such, whatever, but you know what, he needs me. I'm not gonna complain, I'm not gonna apologize about being a bad, or I would never apologize for being a good person and helping them out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I hear you, but at the same time, like, some people, you just need to let them figure things out themselves. Like, if they're not learning, it's like, I think we were watching trying to think what show it was. We were watching something earlier where it's like they were talking about, actually, I think it was a YouTube video, because my wife's all about watching random YouTube videos or whatever, different channels. And this YouTube creator was talking about that there's this friend she had that would always get in contact with her and would need help, but she couldn't pay her rent or whatever. And she would help her out. And like, she was like this I think her name was Charlotte. So Charlotte would help her out, and the friend would be able to, she would keep her place. Like, she wouldn't get kicked out, whatever, because she got help or whatever. But then after a while, basically, she would only message her when she needed help, so she'd help her out. Then after a while, like, she finally backed away and said, look, I can't do it anymore, because you only talk when you need help. And then, of course, then this friend went online on social media and started talking shit about her. complaining about her, making some claims, whatever, and just basically just dragging her name through the mud. It's like, I'm the reason why you still have your place. Like, I'm the reason why you're not in a worse situation, so I don't appreciate such. And so, um, sometimes that's why it's like sometimes you just gotta, you gotta let people experience their own stuff. Like, you can't, especially if they obviously don't appreciate everything you do, then it's best to walk away, let them fail, because obviously, like, they're only using you for what you can do, they only want you in their life for what you can do for them. And so that's unfortunate, especially when you think they're actually real and true friends, and yet all you're getting from them is basically like, hey, I need your help again, can I borrow money, whatever, and they, oh yeah, okay, here you go, but they don't talk to you for a while, and then they come back into your life again. Hey, it's been a while. Hey, by the way, I hate to ask, but could I please borrow some such? Can I borrow a couple grand? I'm in the situation, whatever. And sometimes you gotta be like, sorry. It's like the situation with Joanne. It's like, the guy would, she'd kick him out. Then a couple months later, she's taking him back again because he's in a bad situation. It's like, look, like he can go to a shelter, he can do such. Like, why are you continuing to help him when it just gets to the same point? It's like rinse and repeat, It's like, you got to do what's best for you, and people not being willing to get walked on doesn't mean that they're bad people because they're not willing to do what you're obviously willing to do. It's nothing wrong with it. If you want to help them repeatedly, go for it, Just like I probably shouldn't have been as judgy about Kirsten being so desperate to get in another relationship, because she wanted to be with somebody else. It's like I should have probably just been like, all right, you do you, and obviously we could talk, and I'm here. But I walked away because look, like, this is destructive. You're literally just trying to hook up with people that you met online, whatever. It's like, I can't be a part of this, blah blah blah. So I'd be willing to chat with her again, but I don't know if she's even one of the ones listening. So, oh well, we all gotta do what we gotta do. So I'm trying to be consistent with at least what I'm doing and over here in my life with it, getting these episodes recorded and uploaded, getting the stories written and recorded, and of course compiling those into the volumes so I can start getting those published. My wife actually on the way home from had a little get together, a little, technically it was a birthday party / gender reveal, and on the way home my wife was telling me about her sister Katie, who I guess she has a single book that she's written, and I guess she's got publishers fighting over her or something. It's like, so she's gonna be published really soon. I'm like, oh, that's cool, like I'm really happy for her. I was like, that's one of my next steps. But I said I'm trying to get a couple projects pretty much completed before I do, not just have like one book, but have like a couple of the Blodgett Show short stories volumes ready to go, like 2 or 3 of those completed, so that way I can release a couple at once, as well as probably I'd love to get the current novel, get that pretty much like completed and ready to go, so that way like I'm start publishing all those or whatever. So it's like I don't have any guidance as far as how that goes, because I've reached out to, I think I have a sister-in-law, shout out to Trish, but she'd published some books, I guess, or a book. I don't know how many she's published, but I reached out to her on a TikTok. It was like, hey Trish, she's like, hey Chris, how's it going? I was like, hey, so I've got a couple book projects that I've actually like mostly written, they're mostly completed. I was like, when I look at publishing, what should I do? Like, do you have any recommendations? And basically all she recommended was like, well, you should look at like KDP, like Kindle or whatever, and like Amazon self-publishing. That'd be the easiest route. And like, okay, maybe I could research and find out some publishers online that maybe I could send the completed manuscripts to, and go about that route and see if I can maybe snag one that way. Who knows? if somebody with publisher connections and you're listening to this podcast and somebody you'd recommend I reach out to, send me an email, blogshowpodcast@gmail.com, and let me know like some contact info for a publisher that you think I should message about it, and who you think might be willing to work with me. Hey, I'll check them out. But I got at least volume 1 and volume 2, and then I do have a novel that's like 75% completed. But again, like I try to do what I can with what time I have. So some weeks it feels like not so much, but I'll try to do the best I can. So that's why I'm already planning to, when I get off this next Saturday into Sunday morning, and off for a couple days before we get the moving company, I'm going to be trying to be proactive for those couple of days, get some boxes packed, maybe get a story or two done, and get the Real Talk Tuesday episodes for like a week or two done. So when we get out there to Missouri, I'll have like 2 weeks hopefully where stuff will already be uploaded and scheduled, and I can still do stuff, but I won't have to worry about like, hey, I got to get an episode this week, So anyway, on that note, you guys, you know what I always say, keep pushing forward, keep believing, believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then we just have to go out there and do it. As always, anybody, for the passive stuff, anybody who, if you're a crypto person or whatever, and you'd be interested in checking something out as far as like being able to stack Bitcoin, grow your Bitcoin passively without having to actually refer anybody, basically just let it literally just, it grows on its own once you get started. Check it out. Passive Bitcoin, the number 247.com. The units are actually about a grand for a full unit, but you can get shares for $100 a piece, and each $100 share you end up making about 30 to 40 cents a day passively without having to do anything. And then every full unit, it's like $1,000 unit, you end up making like between $10 and $40 a day. As it's literally a Bitcoin mining, and it's run out of Texas, and it's been going for a while. The guy that I came in with, that's technically my sponsor, the other day he did a screenshot where he actually, because he's been doing it for a while, and he actually is like, doing really well off. So he, I guess, bought 50 full units, so 50 grand worth of Bitcoin miners. So I was like, damn, that's compounding and growing for you right there. So there's any units you get, that they don't stop, they just keep going. It's not like they mine for a while, then you gotta replenish it. It's like, no, once you get it, it just keeps going. So I was gonna do something similar when Kirsten and I were talking, but then there was an opportunity that I guess didn't fully work out. But then once we had a falling out, then I got involved in this, and I'm like, well, if Kirsten and I were still connected, I would have forwarded the info to her, and she'd probably be actually with me in it, because that's what we're kind of planning to do in general. But anyway, guys, I'll let you go with that, but I appreciate you being here. Keep doing what you gotta do, and I will talk to you guys. Actually, stay tuned, because coming up next will be the next round of the Raw Chat episodes, which, if you're new to this podcast, it's like we have the Real Talk Tuesday episodes pretty much every Tuesday. We have now what I'm trying to do to try to be consistent with it is have the Story Time Friday episodes every Friday, which are stories that are written by myself, and then of course recorded and read live for every Friday episode. Every so often, there's gonna be a Friday where either the schedule doesn't work out, I'm slammed that week, maybe I get sick, whatever. So if I try not to miss a Friday, but if I miss one, I apologize. So, but the plan right now, Real Talk Tuesday episodes on Tuesday, Storytime Friday episodes on Friday, and now the new segment, which is Raw Chat, which is basically me kind of connecting, doing recorded phone calls with friends slash fellow truckers. Probably gonna be random phone conversations with friends that aren't truckers. But it's where the reason why it's raw chat is because I'm not editing it. It's literally what you hear is what the way the conversation went is what you're getting. So right now it's the current episodes. I've just been with some other truckers, like my friend David Goldberg, who's a fellow author and trucker. And then he sometimes has other friends of his that are other truckers up there in PA that connect with him. They call him and he puts them on conference call, and then it adds it to the recorded call. And, we have this, little recorded conversation. Things have kind of gotten better. Like initially the recording app that I finally settled on, I thought you could only record it with Wi-Fi or data. But sadly, going through the mountains, I'd be on a call with him, and it would just kept kicking off. So, but now apparently I found out I can have it connect to mobile data or use my mobile minutes through my regular carrier, and it doesn't kick it off. There's no breaking up or bad connection. It literally is just so. Starting this week, now the calls should be a lot better. The only downside to it is that when I started doing that, it when he calls me on that number for the Google Voice number, it comes up on my phone like he's calling me on my regular number. And so initially he tried to call me, and I texted him no, call me on the Google Voice number, and of course it popped up again saying he was calling me on my Mint number, and I answered, but then of course I thought, well, I wonder. So I hit, of course it says to answer the call, press 1. So it's bloop, all right, 1. And then I hit number 4 to go ahead and start recording the call. And of course it did it. It said this call is being recorded, which you'll hear that on the raw chat episodes. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, I called you on the voice number. And I'm like, well, when I changed it to use my mobile minutes instead of the data, Wi-Fi or whatever, when you call me, it shows it's calling me, you're calling me on my regular number. So I was like, that's really confusing. But apparently, I guess, if you call me, just call me on that number, and I'll just assume that you're calling me on the voice number, and I'll just hit record, and we can, do another episode for the raw chat. He goes, okay, cool. So it's been a work in progress, but we should have a lot clearer episodes now. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So stay tuned for the next episode coming up right after this one, for the next raw chat episode, and then we'll see you guys on Friday for the next Storytime Friday. But again, anybody who wants to support the show, if you want to help out with any moving expenses, because it's not cheap, but we're doing our best, send me a message on blodgetshowpodcast@gmail.com, and I will give you a link for wherever you can possibly send some funds over if that's what you want to do. But otherwise, hey, just like and follow, tell your friends. It's how we try to get this podcast to grow in general. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here, and as always, I will talk to you on the next one. Have a good one.